welcome back to TLK Infamous. My name is Socially. It's going to be a little different this time, and I know we haven't recorded in months, so I thank you for tuning in. Before you do anything else, please like, subscribe, and comment. But there's a lot of things going on, and this is the night before Election Day. So the situation with Diddy, and I know we've been hearing about Diddy since Cassie done told her truth on the media, and she done got that good old settlement. But there's a lot of stuff that really do got to be discussed because I feel like it is all distraction from bigger things that's happening, the wars, the elections, all these laws that's changing through court, Congress. But I do want to highlight the fact that hip hop may ultimately be different moving forward, because one thing about the Bad Boy Records and P. Diddy, he did have a lot of influence in the industry. You know, besides the freak off parties and whatever he doing behind those back doors, he did bring up a lot of stars, including Mary J. Blige, who else? Mace, Fabulous. So there's a lot going on, and I think that right now, if I go on my Instagram, I'm going to see everything else but what needs to be discussed. And recently, he was arrested. And I do feel like he should have been arrested months ago when Cassie first came up with those allegations. But because it was done through settlement, there's not really much they can do. But I love the fact that a lot of people is starting to, share their truth with that situation. But yeah, like, I don't know what's going to happen to hip hop culture, because I felt like, hip hop culture is so tainted now. Even Beyonce and Jay-Z is getting dragged into it. And I don't want to say they're getting dragged into it. I want to say they dragged themselves. No pun intended. But I will say that right now, we don't know if hip hop culture is going to have that same spark that it had. Because one thing about hip hop culture, it influenced everywhere. Not only just the US, Japan, all over the country. Everybody wants to, imitate this black culture. How many people is going to want to come in the industry now? How many people is going to trust and feel like what they're signing their rights to is going to be, served? And so let's talk about it. I think this is a free fall, and I really wanted to hit a public, see what y'all think and how y'all feeling about it. If we have any OGs that's in the building, please tap in. Let me know what you guys think, because you grew up in the 80s, the 70s, when, hip hop was really coming to fruition. And now that with all the situations going down now, what do you foresee is going to be the future of hip hop? So let's get into the callers. Let's see if anybody got something to say. I really want to hear how you feel. So let's get into caller number 1. Testing. You here, caller? All right. How are you feeling today?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Hey, listen, by the way, I voted. I did my early voting.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for voting. We need y'all. We need y'all to vote. So how you feel about the state of hip hop?
First of all, I'm a 60s baby, okay? And so let's jump right in. When hip hop was introduced to me the way how I know it, well, actually, there was always rap. There was rapping way before that we know hip hop today. But during the 80s, right, early 80s and so forth, when, there were, hip hop artists coming out, it was more or less about self-expression and exploration and just being aware and coming into oneself. So it was promoting positivity in the community, and I liked it. I could, I still do like hip hop today. I do like some of the newest hip hop artists, but what disturbs me is that the performance and so it's become so provocative. It's become so raw and raunchy that I just don't like. And the state of hip hop today, I'm kind of also curious about what is going to happen with hip hop. But so I just want to say something about. So I grew up in a time when there was Don Kirshner's rock concert, right? There's a lot of performers. A lot of them were white. It was rock and roll. Rock and roll dominated the airwaves. Okay, country music also dominated the airwaves. soul. There was, Motown and so forth dominating the airwaves, but more so, I saw a lot of, other kinds of artists, like white artists performing. Okay, MTV, same, similar. There weren't a lot of black artists being put on. Okay, also Grammys, same thing. When hip hop came, and it kind of lifted the community, the black community, and other communities, like you said earlier, that it touched everyone everywhere, because a lot of us could relate to it. Young and old were able to relate to it. It's just that some people didn't feel comfortable, putting out their truth of really enjoying the music, because it spoke so much to the tension in the community. Everything was that could be said was being said in the form of that art form of words. And so with hip hop, what I loved is that I started seeing more black folks on television. But with that, like I would say more in the 90s, when Bad Boy records came out, and the gangster rap came on. So what happened is that it's like an infiltration, and I happen to think, like in conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist per se, but I do believe if you can think it, it can happen. And what I saw was a lot of performers getting on stage, and they just kind of blew up, right? And other than being and having that forum, okay, I was I kind of like was thinking to myself as a young woman then, because I'm a 60s baby, I'm not going to really give my age, but so what I saw is that it changed dramatically, where there's so many people coming on, so many black folks coming into the industry, and I loved it. But then it went downhill.
Down. Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. I'm going to take a moment to just discuss that. It's so interesting now because, like you said, during the 90s and, the hip hop culture becoming this thing, it really did give a lot of opportunity for a lot of, black people in general. And then even to this day, I feel like it has lost its artistry. And when it comes to infiltration, I think you hit it on the mark. When it comes to these labels that's infiltrated, they literally are seeking out people that have records. They're seeking out the most raunchy person. They're seeking out the most vulnerable person is actually the word I would love to start with, because they seek out on vulnerability, because when you're vulnerable, you make these decisions that is not based on artistry. It's based on exploitation. And so you have artists like Ice Spice and Sexy Red. I think I was looking at an article the other day where Ice Spice was on stage and she looked bored of twerking. And I'm like, that's how you got put on. And you're already bored of what you do. And I'm not saying that's an artistry by itself. But what I'm saying is that these new artists that they're picking, they're just picking to exploit them. And, one thing about P. Diddy, I will say he does have that music skill. And at that time when he was bringing in so many artists, it's so unfortunate that at that time when there was like, I want to say this renaissance of hip hop at that time, where all these different people was coming in, R&B singers and rap, they really had a skill set of artistry. And unfortunately, Diddy, and as well as, I forgot who's the one that owns Bad Boy, not Bad Boy, but the ones that Diddy report to, Diddy's just a puppet as well, and Diddy had his own puppets. They were all exploited, and they really wasn't able to seek the artistry. What was unfortunate that I read recently was the situation with Justin Bieber. And, you guys know who Jaguar White is. She loves to discuss on that, but there's so many other segments that discuss Justin Bieber's state of mind when he first came into industry. Mind you, I want to say he was like 13 years old when he first came in industry. And, he was brought on by Usher, right? And then Usher kind of partnered him with P. Diddy, and they all started collaborating. But it's so interesting how hurt people. And the only reason I bring that up is because look at Usher. Usher grew up in that household. He even said that at 15 years old, he was in these parties when he wasn't supposed to. And for you to be in that type of environment at a young age, and then as well as expose somebody else, you're well off at 30 right now, maybe 40 at this moment when you're discovering, so-called Justin Bieber. You done recruited Justin Bieber and brought him into that same environment. And one thing I will say, with all the videos that you see Justin Bieber's in the club and he's, all these like suspicious things that's happening, and nobody really wants to just say. They're gonna talk about it as if it's gossip, but it's like, why isn't anybody speaking up for Justin Bieber? Why don't we have all these major headlines talking about Justin Bieber's grief? Because it's happening in the moment. He's dealing with it. And, Justin Bieber recently did an interview this year where he was discussing Billie Eilish, and he was like, I'm scared. He said he was scared. He don't want Billie Eilish to go through what he went through. And him at a young age, because he's young still, I think he's 20 something, for him to understand what he'd been through and also be aware that, hey, listen, I need to prevent this from happening. That's possible. If Justin Bieber can speak up at his young age and say, listen, I don't want this to happen to any of my loved ones or friends, Usher could have did the same. And, I don't know what happened to P. Diddy when he was younger, but obviously there has to be some type of trauma that happens for him to trigger more trauma to other people. It's just insane to me. And I feel like Justin Bieber's truth is being swept under the rug. When Cassie spoke her truth and then there was this case, then everybody wanted to report it. But where are all these news articles that's talking about Justin Bieber? But I do feel like there's, politics behind it. So maybe Justin Bieber got to go to a lawyer or go to the court and speak up for anything to happen. So that is on him. But we don't know right now. And I'm curious to see what you guys are thinking. We're going to call into the hotline, see if anybody else got anything to say, what I just discussed, or anything new that we are not thinking about. Let's bring it on. Any callers? Let's see what's happening.
Honestly, with this whole situation, I'm kind of happy that the secrets are being revealed, because all the victims that have no justice all these years finally is happening. It's unfortunate that everything is going to change forever, but I think that it's going to be a good thing.
Do you feel like the media has some type of control over these secrets? Because, in the beginning of the segment, I spoke about how there's so many distractions, and now all the secrets want to come out, weeks before the election. All these things want to happen weeks before the election, all these secrets. Do you feel like it's the year of the truth, or do you feel like it's strategically planned by these corporations and these government when it comes to releasing information to the public? How do you feel about that?
I think it's both, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think the media is definitely hiding things, but it is a year for truth, secrets to be revealed. Definitely. But they definitely have. I mean, it's been suppressed for so many years. It's been decades, generations even, in this industry.
I agree. And what's so upsetting to me? Thank you so much for tapping in, caller number 2. Thank you. If you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the page, TLK Infamous. It is the year of the truth. But then let's talk about the followers. Let's talk about people like me that's not in the industry, but follow the industry, may follow the Instagram page. So you have a lot of people that love Beyonce. And I know, listen, if you a participant of my show and you watch the episodes, I know I bring up Beyonce a lot, but Beyonce ain't innocent. Her whole team ain't innocent. Jay-Z ain't innocent. And I feel like with all the information that's coming out with Beyonce's, secret sex tape, so-called, and mind you, that sex tape information was discussed in the media like months ago in April. So the fact that stuff is coming to light now and it's the same conversation, it gotta be a sex tape out there. But that's besides the point. It's not even about the sex tape. It's about how Beyonce and Jay-Z is also down with the freak-offs or doing all type of satanic stuff. Listen, that's all in the same boat, okay? He's still rooting for Beyonce. Oh, I love Beyonce. I love Jay-Z. But then 2 seconds later, they advocating for political rights. And it's like, I don't understand how people can be so blind to what they want to be blind for And I do feel like they do pick and choose, but I'm like, how much truth do you need before you understand, oh, like, no, they are down with that. And so I feel like that's the same thing what happened with P. Diddy. And now that it hit the fan, it's like, oh, like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't follow P. Diddy. Maybe I shouldn't be associating with this. I just don't know what's going to happen with the people that was following. What are they going to move forward? Like, what are they going to do moving forward? And what concerns me is that, like I said, you know, Jay-Z, Beyonce, P. Diddy, they were these moguls at one point in our life. They were people that, you know, a lot of people looked up to in the music industry. Who are we going to look up to now? And I'm not saying there's not people like that. We got other players like Kendrick, Rhapsody. I love her. There's a lot of different other artists. And I'm speaking on black artists, not just black leaders, but just black artists in general. Who are they going to look up to in industry? Definitely when you have mainstream media promoting these people. And so it's not only just P. Diddy. It's all these people that's tied in with P. Diddy, because it wasn't just the music industry. It was the cops that lied on the cases, that forged some of the names. It's the people, the arresting officers, the lawyers that know what's going on behind the scenes. So I want to say it's scary, but it also, like you said, it brings awareness when it comes to speaking with truth. And I want to see how people pivot, moving forward, because like this year is the year of the dragon, and the year of the dragon is, like you said, when, all lies come to the light. How are people going to address the information and the truth moving forward? Because one thing I do notice is that when people find out something is going on behind the doors, some people choose to ignore or act like they ain't see it or act like they ain't know and move forward. But listen, thank you guys. I want to tap in next time. It's been a crazy year. I can't believe it's already November. Holiday season is coming up. Daylight savings just happened. So with 2 more months down the line, I hope you guys continue to tune in and hopefully learn something every time I do speak. But if you don't tap in already, make sure you tap in now at TLK Infamous. You can follow, subscribe. And yes, we are going to be putting it back on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, so you can listen to the audio moving forward. Thank you so much for tapping in. Until next time. Peace.